Alright, let's now take a look at the tray assembly for the SP540 vending machine. The tray assembly consists of an all-metal tray, the augers or helixes, the motors located on the back side of the tray, motor assemblies, and as you'll notice, the count of motors on the tray would tell us what size tray it is. Like if you'll notice, this machine here, or this tray here, has 10 motors. So we would call this a 10 count candy tray. And the reason why we call it a candy tray is it has these smaller augers in it, not the dual augers like you've seen in the introduction of the machine. Alright, now let's go through the steps to replace a motor on the candy tray. To replace the motor on the tray assembly, what we're going to first do is we're going to unplug the motor from the harness. Now what we're going to do is we're going to disengage the auger or spiral from the motor. And to do this with a needle nose pair of pliers, you're going to pinch the two fingers together inside of the motor assembly here and pull the auger assembly away from the motor. You'll notice that on the back of the auger assembly, this is the auger hub, and the two fingers I'm talking about, they simply plug down into the motor, so you're going to pull that away once you release those fingers. Okay, now once that we have pulled the auger assembly away from the motor, then what we're going to do is we're going to locate the motor locking tab on the tray. We're going to push it down gently. As you see, the motor just pops right out for us. Now the motor's out, and we can now replace the motor. Now to replace the motor, what we're going to do is we're going to line up these small two tabs on the bottom of the motor. We're going to line these up with these two holes here on the tray. And we're going to then line up the top part. Pushing on the housing assembly, and not the motor assembly, but the housing assembly here, we're going to snap the motor into place. Make sure it's locked down. Okay, then we're going to take and re-plug our motor into our harness. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the auger assembly and we're going to line up the front of the home position. And what I mean by this, what I want to do is I want to take and have the tip of the auger lined up with the tip of the rest of the augers. And it's important that when we line up this tip of the auger, that the auger bar, the bottom portion of the auger, is along the bottom of the tray. This is going to keep items from slipping out and underneath. So we want to make sure that that's our home position. And then to re-engage the motor to the auger to the motor assembly, we're going to line up the hub. And once we have that lined up, we're simply then going to push gently and make sure that locks into place. The tray assembly. And now the motor's been replaced, your auger's back at home, we're ready to put the motor back, or the tray back into the machine. That's how we replace a motor assembly on the SP540 automatic merchandiser.